Hey everybody, welcome back. Alright, so in this lesson we are going to get sidechain compression sorted out. So if you're watching this course, then you are likely not a beginner and have likely come across sidechain compression and know why and how to use it. However, for those of you who don't or you need a quick refresh, here is the short version. So using a side-chained compressor, we can use one element of our track to turn down another element of our track. In this case, we will use the kick to turn down the bass line. So whenever the kick plays, we get a short dip in volume of the bass line. Now, why do we do this? Well, there are two reasons. The first and most important is because when the bass and specifically the sub-bass of the kick and the bass line play at the same time, they can cause all sorts of issues with the low end of your mix, causing it to become dynamically unstable. Now this can manifest itself in many ways, but the signs to look for is if your kick sounds different from hit to hit, that's a problem. Your kick should be crystal clear and well defined all the time. Now the second reason to use it is because it really helps glue the kick and the bass together, so they then work as one cohesive unit in the mix. Now that's the what and the why, and I always use a sidechain compressor on a group channel, as there's normally more than one element in my track that I want to have sidechained. So that's what I'm going to do in this case. I'm just going to add a group channel. So add track, group track. Definitely want it to be stereo. Call it sidechain, add track. And I'm going to route my Vital bass line to it. So I'm just going to go into the channel settings for Vital and I'm going to change the output from the stereo out, which is the last output or the master out, to the group called sidechain. Okay, great stuff. Now it should be going through here. Okay, so it's going through my sidechain group, and on the sidechain group, I'll go into the channel settings and I'm going to add a compressor. Now, just so you know, we do cover sidechain compression in all of our beginner tutorials as it's such a fundamental and useful tool, even though it's not really a super beginner topic. So hopefully everybody who's watching this has at least some idea of how to use plugins and is a bit beyond the absolute beginner level. So in your DAW, just find your compressor and set up sidechain compression in whichever way that has to be done. In Cubase, we just load the compressor, activate the sidechain, and then I can select from this list which element of my track I want to use as the input, basically the thing that's going to turn down the bass line, and that is I want to use the kick. So I select that, and that's basically the sidechain part set up. Now we just got to tweak the settings. And again, if this is kind of going over your head and this is a bit too much, then you really should go through one of our beginner tutorials in your specific DAW as we cover how to use sidechain in each specific DAW, not just in Cubase. We've got courses for, as I say, Cubase, Ableton, Logic Pro, and FL Studio. Alright, so the settings are almost always the same, so it's really not like you need to be an advanced user to know this. We set the ratio to roughly about 3.5 to 1 or 4 to 1, anywhere around there is absolutely fine. Have the attack pretty much as low as it goes to 0.1 millisecond. No hold, and in fact some or most compressors don't even have a hold function. And then we want a low release. I'm going to set this to 30 milliseconds, so it's very quick release. Although be aware that the release might want to be different depending on the track you're working on and the sound that you want. A longer release time means the bass takes longer to reach full volume once the kick has finished playing, so you can give the bass line a sort of slower volume dynamic. In this track, we want a quick dip in volume when the kick plays, but for the bass line to go back to full volume very quickly as soon as the kick has finished playing, so it will appear almost seamless. Alright, so that's set up. Now the only thing you've got to worry about, and this will be different in every track you make, is the threshold level. Okay, so let's just play what we got. I'm just going to turn off the auto makeup gain, okay, so we don't really need that. Now, when I make it really extreme like that, that is obviously much, much too extreme, but you can really hear every time the kick plays, the bass line completely sort of disappears. Now that's way too much, we want less than that. So somewhere around there, it's not really super noticeable, but if I turn off the compressor, you'll hear it. So that's with it. And then without. And then with. It just keeps the kick really nice and punchy, and it dips that bass line enough, even though it sounds like it's got the same sort of energy, in fact better energy because it's more glued together, more cohesive. Alright, so that's sounding pretty decent. So really, when you're listening to, the most important audio clue or gauge is that you want to listen to the kick. If the kick sounds nice and punchy and clear, then that is good. If the kick is getting masked in any way, especially the sub bass of the kick, so it's kind of harder to detect, you need to either crank it up, like I said, or listen on headphones. And if you can hear the kick deforming in any way, then you likely need to lower the threshold on the sidechain so it's more effective. Anyway, there we go, it's all good. Now that's it for this lesson. In the next lesson, we will look at layering this bass with a dedicated sub bass. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.